Hello again and welcome. Starting where we left off, we'll start in the second session, method and theory framework. In this session, we know scenario planning process, how it would be, and business model concept and value configuration. So, exploratory scenarios char- uh, characterize event, trend, and decision as they may evolve based on different assumptions about how this event, trends, and decision may affect on the future. So, exploratory scenario provide a plurality of possible alternative futures. They can be created through anticipatory action learning process. So, in which professionals from different fields come together to generate scenarios. The alternative future presented in this white paper, this white paper were created and assisted through group work, and special attention was paid to the consideration variation and validation of scenarios. The data of the alternative 6G business features presented in this paper were mapping in the 6G fla- uh, flagship program at the University of Oulu. So, founded by the academic of Finland, the scenarios were generated by professional faculties scenario workshops during the first of 4 months of 2020. So the scenario work process discussed in the chapter was created out of teleconference session and individual homework, considering of the following steps in this figure number one. So selecting the facial issue and time frame business of 6G 2030 and 2035. Second, the discover and identification of key factors and the driving force. Identification and evaluation of forests by choosing key trends and uncertainties based on their uh, basic uncertain of this over system. So, establishing the scenario logic, presenting the most significant uncertainty of the overall system under security by selecting two unrelated polar dimension and creating the scenario by building on different uh, perspective and the identification of trend and uncertainties, and by crossing their outcomes in a scenario matrix. After that, assessment and evaluation of different scenario based on their internal consistent depth, richness, uh, usability, and key stakeholders behavior. Uh, broadening and deepening scenario future thinking, utilizing castle layered analysis and integrity theory for prescriptive models. So the implication of the developed scenario for future business were discussed utilizing the simple rules strategy framework. The simple rules framework consists of six themes as rules: the nature of opportunity rules, how to rules for conducting business, boundary rules for defining the boundary of the business, priority rules which help identify and rank decision making, uh, criteria timing rules which help in identifying sequence, synchronizing and pacing things, and exit rules which help in identifying the basis of exit of selecting thing to be stopped and or give up or giving up. The viewpoint for future 6B business is developed in the future session. And the business model concept and value configuration. So the business model concept centering the value creation process has become the tool for making boundary spanning analysis in contemporary business research. Traditional business model defining from activity perspective assume a facial firm. So we define the business model as the way company structure its own activity in determining the focus locus and model of its business. So, furthermore, business models are seen to connect to three strategies: the chosen and related key activity of firm with ecosystem. First, the opportunity to be explored and exploited. The value to be created and captured, and advantage to be exploited and exploited. So exploring and exploiting opportunity and advantages can be seen to motivate ecosystem in structure from a dynamic capability perspective, whereas value creation, delivery, sharing, and capture and are considering the key element of the functioning business model. So successful business model are considered to have three strategic consequences. One, the first, uh, scalability, applicability, and sustainability. The growth of business is frequently connected to scalability and reliability, while scalability refers to internal growth potential and flexible replacement in uh, uh, indicates it is external flexible to adapt. Moreover, sustainability stems from a business model's feasibility, viability, and environmental or sociality impact. So in its scenario analysis, this white paper utilize the target business model configuration and value configuration framework and the classical business model constitution and value decision built on Porter's value chain theory and supply focused mentality that sees the business model as a means to capture value from customers. So this white paper adapt a service dominate logic and service ecosystem thinking to analyze developed scenarios and the potential for transmission of the wireless industry from traditional supply focus e-games to ecosystem focused models. So define a service ecosystems as a self-adjusting system of resource integration actors actors connected by sharing institution arrangement and multi-value creation through service exchange. So this demonstrates the systemic and institution natural of value co-creation and resource integration. If all actors, stakeholders are be willing to bring their resource to the common pool, continue collaboration within ecosystem that all need experience value from it. The value perspective of the ecosystem focused business model is about value creation and co capture to maximize the overall ecosystem value, which in turn increase the value shared and accrued not only by facial firm but by actors within the ecosystem. So from the structure perspective, the ecosystem can be seen as having four aspects. One, network governances. Second, platform keystone against and complement. And third, open interfaces and pool innovation capability and resource for a modular core and prefers design. These aspects of ecosystem have shaped our analysis and they are further discussed in the section 4.